Sometimes the hardest thing to let go of isn't the person. It's the version of ourselves that exists with them. A lot of us keep abandoning ourselves emotionally, trying to hold on to connections that no longer fit who we're becoming. Now, before we get into this, I am not a licensed therapist. This is just from my own personal perspective, personal growth, relationships, conversations, and real life situations. So this is a space for reflection, emotional awareness, and conversation. I think the hardest thing about growth is realizing you can't take everybody with you. And it doesn't always mean that they're toxic. It doesn't always mean somebody cheated. It doesn't always mean there's some huge betrayal. Sometimes the connection stops bringing you peace because there's history, because there's comfort, because there's attachment. And we keep trying to force ourselves to stay emotionally connected to situations our spirit already outgrew. I think men struggle with this silently because men sometimes hold on to connection long after the connection stops feeling emotionally safe. Not always because we are deeply in love, but sometimes it's because we're attached to familiarity. We get used to checking in, having access, having an emotional connection to somebody. Even when the connection feels inconsistent, it brings anxiety or we feel emotionally drained afterwards. We keep reaching out. And sometimes we convince ourselves as men, at least they still answered. At least we still talk. At least she's still there. But deep down, the connection isn't really serving us anymore. And sometimes we maintain emotional access and abandon ourselves all at the same time. And honestly, I think women experience this too. I think women stay emotionally connected because they remember the potential of the connection, or they remember how safe it used to feel, or they hope that consistency will eventually come back. So they overextend their emotions, they overexplain, they overgive, they shrink their needs, they ignore their intuition, all to avoid losing the connection. And I think both men and women struggle when history is involved, because history can make emotional misalignment feel harder to accept. But one thing I'm noticing is your body starts noticing misalignment before your mind accepts it. You start feeling anxious after conversations instead of peaceful. You start overthinking small interactions, questioning effort, questioning consistency, questioning where you stand emotionally. And then you realize, do I even want this connection anymore? Or am I struggling with letting go of what it used to mean to me? That realization hurts. I think people are secretly waiting for emotional validation before they move on. An apology, an acknowledgement, closure, some confirmation that what they gave was real. Because healing gets easier when you stop needing somebody else to validate your effort. You know if you tried. You know it if you showed up. You know if you loved deeply. Because peace starts returning once you stop forcing alignment with people that don't fit your life emotionally. I don't think letting go always means hate. I think sometimes distance is just self-respect. And sometimes growth looks like choosing yourself instead of abandoning yourself, holding on to connections your spirit already outgrew. And to be honest, that might be where peace begins. Protect your peace, move with intention, and I'll see you in the next one.